What's up, y'all? I just released an EP over on my Slime Cinema project, and I wanted to break down one of the coolest patches, I think, in the whole 4-track EP, and that's going to be on the 4th track, which is The Beacon. It's all based on the Lighthouse movie. I kind of based the EP off that, and so I'll go ahead and play this so you know what you're getting into.
Emerald yourself.
And so the sustain bass that makes up the majority of this track is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layers, but only 4 of them play at a time. So the death blow either plays or the pump vocal plays. As you can see, it's going on the ones there, and then for the second half, it changes and gets a lot more high energy in it. And so the way that I made this sound was, I think, pretty unique for me at least. And so what I did here is I used Pad Shop. There's a scene in the Lighthouse. I'll play this audio. This is the sample that I used to get this. And if you haven't seen the movie, then kind of spoilers if you're like super picky about what you get spoiled. But if you've seen it, you'll know exactly where this is from. And so I definitely wanted to incorporate that part into the track, but I couldn't get a way to do it because, as you can kind of hear there's like a chorus going on. There's a bunch of low end, it's different harmonic elements along with like heavy distortion, so I really couldn't find a tight way to use it as a sample. But what I did end up finding worked pretty well was taking it, putting it in a granular synthesis plugin. So this one's Pad Shop Pro, but they all kind of work similarly. So I have the speed here, which is like the that's the speed at which your grain position moves. So where basically the start place every time that it plays the length of the clip that you have. Then I have the duration, which is how long that clip is. Then the number of voices, right? The number of grains. And so the way I have it set up here, it just plays and repeats the first 102, whatever length that is, or whether it's milliseconds or whatever. Repeats it, has 4 different voices, right? So one voice, it doesn't really repeat that well, but with 4, we get that nice stutter. And then I send it through an EQ, super heavily cutting the lows out, and then boosting in that distortion. As you can see, that's starting to turn it into what I wanted there. So then it gets sent into this snap heap here, which what this does is when this pitch swap knob gets changed at the halfway point, right, it goes from to this, and that's done simply by having 2 different pitch shifters, which just get the mix turned up on them. And then I have 2 different convolvers in a serial bus here. Really, the only thing that I'm doing with this is, as you can see, when the pitch swap turns on, it gets my pitch shifters turned on, so they're being utilized there. And then it just changes which convolution source I'm using. So this convolver knob is controlled by this. It's just set to where 100% there equals 50% here. So it's 50% convolution source. If I turn these off, you'll kind of hear it's just a lot less airy. Right, that gives it some airiness. And then the only difference on these two is one is not stretched and this one's kind of shortened. So then from there, I send it into another convolver, and this one is controlled by this little sweep up knob here. And that just gives it that little up sweep to kind of lead into the next part of the sustain bass there. And so all I did here, and this is a good trick that I use a lot of the times, is took a Joe B sample, so it's this one, and then just fed in wetness with that automation and just kind of stretched it to fit with the sample that we have going on there. And then lastly, I just sent it through an OTT to compress it together and kind of glue it. And so that's going to do it for this one, y'all. Please go check out the EP if you haven't yet. And I will probably make a full breakdown of whichever one of these is the most, popular supported track or whatever. So thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time.